Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about Twitter for authors. And I have many Twitter accounts, so I'll do separate videos on Twitter for artists and other groups. But today we're going to focus on using Twitter for authors. So I have a Lisa Shea author account. Started this in September 2011, and I've got about 13,500 followers. It's good with author accounts to focus mostly on your author works. I know that it's tempting to have an account with all your author stuff and all your artist stuff and all your musical stuff and everything all together because it's easier to manage. But there are people who specifically like to read about books and people who specifically like to read about music. So if you can, it's good to have your author works. Hold on. Sorry about that. It's good to have all your author works together in one place. And you can have lots of different books in here and books on different kinds of topics. But it's good to have your author stuff and the supporting things that you do to be an author. So research that you do or travel that you do to support the author works or all that other kind of stuff. Starting a new Twitter account, if you don't have a Twitter account yet, has become fairly different in the past couple years versus what it was back early. So if you're using some sort of a Twitter book, make sure it's a reasonably updated Twitter book because things have changed a lot because Twitter's taking a lot of steps to try to cut down on spammers and hackers and all those kinds of things. So where it used to be easy to ramp up very quickly and to make lots of posts and follow lots of people and so on, Twitter's being very cautious nowadays about watching new accounts to make sure the new accounts seem legitimate. So when you make a new account, it's important to only make a few posts every day, only follow a couple people every day, and so on. Take it slow and easy to start with, and then after a couple weeks, you can ramp up and become more active in there. But that way, Twitter gets a sense that you're a legitimate person, that you're not some sort of a robot just spewing out tweets from there. It's okay if you don't love Twitter. Lots of people dislike Twitter, but Twitter is an extremely effective way to reach people. Where some other systems like Facebook and LinkedIn do best at reaching people you already know, Twitter is amazing at reaching complete strangers. So this is a great way to build out your fan base and to reach thousands upon thousands of people who had never heard about you before. And that's because Twitter primarily runs on hashtags. So if you look at my post here, the hashtags are the keywords that I add to the end of the tweet. You in general want 2 to 3 hashtags because that'll give each one more power. If you put in tons and tons of hashtags, each one then has less power because Twitter sort of figures that you're spamming hashtags that aren't necessarily related to your book. So it's best to focus on 2 to 3 hashtags and to put them at the end of the tweet. So you've got a limited amount of space here. You want to focus on the key message that you're giving about whatever you're posting about, a link for them to go learn more at Amazon or whatever the destination is that you want to send them, and then 2 to 3 hashtags. And make sure that it always has those components and that you always include a picture of your own. Never let Amazon or another third party auto fill in the image for you because different readers handle that differently, and many readers don't show a supporting image at all. So you always want to put in your own image and have it vary from post to post. Another problem with using Amazon is going to be the exact same image all the time, and people's eyes are going to glaze if they just see that coming through, and it'll look like a series of ads, and they'll just stop following you. So it's better to make your own images. If you have a book out, take pictures of your book in all sorts of different scenarios with trees or with grass or with mugs of coffee or mugs of tea or whatever it is that you want to do to mix things up. If you don't have a book out yet, then put out pictures showing the kinds of things you're researching. So put out pictures of, I don't know, Alaskan scenery if you're doing stuff about Alaska, or do pictures about, I don't know, horses if your book has a lot of horses in it. Just make sure you always have the rights to all images you use. Never just take images off the web because you saw them somewhere. Always go to a site like Pexels or Pixabay or any of the free stock image sites and create a collection of images that you like to use and make sure that they are really copyright free. You don't want to get your account shut down for copyright infringement issues. So when you make a tweet, it should have a short, engaging promo at the top of it, something that catches people's attention. It should have a link for where they can do something like sign up for your newsletter or buy the book on Amazon if the book is out or so on, and then 2 to 3 hashtags. You always want hashtags because the way most people use Twitter is to look for hashtags about things they're interested in. And the reason for that is that once you get up into the range of following lots of people, if you look at this following list, you just see a pile of posts. And they're just post after post, and they're coming through like a fire hose. So it's hard to manage watching that. But instead, if you're interested like in cozy mysteries and you use the hashtag cozy mystery, these are all the posts that have come through about cozy mysteries. So one came through a minute ago, 7 minutes ago, that's an ad, 15 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago. So it's much more manageable, and you're seeing posts on a particular topic. So these people are posting about the books that they've written or the things that they're up to, or so on. One of the very popular posts is hashtag writing community. And this will have lots and lots of posts coming through very quickly. So 14 seconds ago, 23 seconds ago, 23 seconds ago, 49 seconds ago. So some of it will be book promotions, but a lot of it will be people who are working on writing or people who are trying to get more followers for themselves or all sorts of things like that. And again, this is a pretty steady stream, but it's all on a particular topic. So if you want help with writing, you can make a post about, what your question is and use the hashtag writing community, and then people will respond back. So it's a group of people that all have a shared interest. And you can find hashtags on pretty much any topic you want. So one of my books is set in Salem, Massachusetts. So the hashtags for Salem, Massachusetts, as you might imagine, is about things that Salem is up to. So people who are interested in Salem end up doing posts in there, and then they'll see my book, and then they'll see other things that are happening set in Salem, often about the witch trials and other related things, but sometimes about, things happening at their local library and so on. So the way that you figure out which hashtags are useful, one option is to follow someone else who's in that arena. So let's say you're working on cozy mysteries. So we could look for hashtag cozy mysteries to start with, and then see, all right, there's people posting, every minute or two. So that's a good sign that it's a pretty popular thing. And then you could see what the people who are posting in there are also using. So this person's written a new book, so they use hashtag new book, hashtag cozy mystery. So if I had a new book, I might want to use the hashtag new book. This person's using a writing group. This person has a free one, so they used hashtag free. And when someone uses a hashtag, so let's see, paranormal mystery, you can then click on it and see for yourself, well, how many people are using paranormal mystery? Well, this person did one 57 minutes ago, an hour ago, April 4th, April 3rd. So it's not being used that often, but still a couple posts a day. It might be useful to try it every once in a while to get your books to be in this area. You can look at urban fantasy and see what the urban fantasy entries are. You see 34 seconds, 50 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So urban fantasy gets a lot more traffic on it. So if your book isn't urban fantasy, you always want to use hashtags that relate to your particular topic. But if you are an urban fantasy, this would be a good one to use. And while we're glancing in here, you can notice if something has no picture at all, that's less appealing. If someone has a picture that's just a mishmash of words and stuff, that doesn't really help you get a sense. It's much better to have a clear picture of the author or a book or something, or like this one. This is a great picture. It's smiling, it's engaging, you get a sense of this person being a real person. And then the post itself is great because it's got a clear picture of the book, but then also a couple little words to help you see what the book's going to be about. Don't put tons and tons and tons of words into your promotion area because people aren't going to be able to read that. A lot of people are reading these on smartphones and tiny devices. So the smaller this gets, the harder it's going to be able to read. If you're going to use words, use a few giant words so that people can glance at it and see it, and then see what the actual description says. A ragtag team of thieves attempts to pull off the greatest heist Kristen has ever seen. And then you've got a link to the Amazon, and then you've got a couple different hashtags in there that help you learn more, help people find you more easily about this. Let's see if I'm even, see I'm not following her, so I'm going to hit the little follow button to start following her because I think she did a great job with that. So the 3 ways you can interact with someone else's tweet is you can retweet it. Well, here we'll start with like. You can like it, which is the hard thing. So that's the simplest thing. You just like it and move on. It's put a little note that someone likes this post, and that's a nice thing for the person who made the post. You can retweet it, which is the pair of circling arrows. So we're going to hit retweet on this. So now that post is showing up in my profile area. So if we go back to my profile, this is my Lisa Shea profile. And now this post from Joanna is being featured on my stream of the things that I've been doing. So I'm helping to promote her. She has, let's see, she's got 969 followers. So when she posted, her information went out to her 969 followers. But I'm giving her a hand because I just shared it out with my 13,000 followers. So I'm helping her get better visibility. And then I will make a comment on it and say, this looks like a really interesting story. All right, so I have liked it to show that I am interested in it. I have retweeted it to share it with my own followers, and then I've put a comment on it to have something personal to add to it. So now she will see that, and hopefully she will follow me back in reciprocation. She will hopefully share out news of one of my books, since I just shared out news of one of her books. And the more that you do this with like-minded authors, the more that you build up your network of people who are supporting you. So like my Spirits book has 13 people retweeted it and 4 people liked it. So those people who are retweeting it are probably authors who I am familiar with, who in the past I have liked and shared those things, and they now like and share my things. So let's see, if we go back to Cozy Mystery. And you might notice that by default, when you look at a hashtag, it comes up with the top field. I always go to latest because I want to see what's coming out right now from people. She posted this 44 seconds ago. Because if she posted this 44 seconds ago, it's likely that she's online right now because she just made this post. So if I follow her, she's got 13,000 followers. And if I like this and retweet this and make a comment, I love this promo. So I'll note that she is using the Amazon default image in there, and it looks like an ad. And every time she makes a post about it, it's going to show this exact same ad, which is just not serving its purpose well. It's much better to take a picture of that book with a mug of coffee, with a mug of tea, or so on, and be able to promote it much better. So it looks like she has a couple books and that she's doing that same thing for all of them. So Dead on Donuts, Cupcake Crime. So this is one of the Cozy Mysteries that's doing recipes and stuff. So I am following her already. So I will like it, retweet it, comment, and say, your book covers make me hungry. All right, what else do we have in here? That's an ad. So like this person here made a promotion and she's saying that she's going to talk about her new reading review, but there's no picture. So we have no idea what this reading review is about. It's always good to have a picture because people who are scrolling are going to scroll right past that thing. And her profile picture is really dark. You can barely see that. So it's good to have something that's visible. Like this picture here is great. It's nice and clear. But the image that she used cuts out the whole cover. You always want the image to be horizontally oriented. Here, if I click on this, it's probably, yeah, see, look, it's a giant vertically oriented thing. But Twitter doesn't show vertically oriented images. They show a horizontal picture. So it's lost like all of the key parts of the promo here. So it's good to make sure that your Twitter promos are horizontal and fit in this space so that they do their job well. This could have been a beautiful image, but it doesn't show us much of anything about the picture itself to draw us into it. Where this one here is great because it's horizontally oriented. The book image is nice and clear. The problem is that she's got pink on green, which is like nearly unreadable. They should be bright white letters with a dark shadow so that they stand out very nicely against the green and we can glance at this and read it and see what it says very easily. But she has a good little promo. Has the 2 different hashtags to get you interested in it. Let's see if I'm following her. I am already following her, but I will like it, retweet it. What can I say about this? You always want to say something nice. You don't want to say you have to use better colored letters. People don't appreciate that. Do that in a private message if you have to. But let's see what we will say. I'll just say looks intriguing. All right, so when you're making your posts, here we'll go, well, let's look at our notifications. Oh, see, look, so someone's already liked my tweets and she says, thank you so much. So she's already responding to me because I found someone who had just posted on Twitter, so I knew they were still online. Well, I hope they were still online, and they were able to interact with me. To stop drinking coffee because it made my hands shaky, but I eat as much chocolate as I can so it balances out. All right, so you get some interaction with the person. So that makes it more likely when she sees my books in the future that she will uh, interact with my stuff. I interact with her stuff because her stuff looks interesting. And I found these people by looking just for the hashtag cozy mystery. So I didn't necessarily know about these people before. I just looked for a hashtag that we share in common. My readers will be interested in these people's posts. Their readers will be interested in my post because we're both writing about the same type of general topic, cozy mysteries. So that's with the cozy mysteries. Let's try another topic. Let's say that we are writing. I'm afraid to do horror because some of you might be afraid of horror stuff. Let's not do horror. Let's do medieval romance, which I also write. All right, so we'll look at the latest ones. So here's someone who's written a medieval romance, a medieval Beauty and the Beast. So she's got the Amazon link, but she didn't let Amazon fill in the auto default Amazon image. She used her own particular image, which has a great cover. The text is not great. White against white is just not a good combination. You should use large, dark letters with white fuzzing around the edges, and then that will stand out much better against the white background. But she's got the medieval romance. I would always put the hashtags at the end because it's hard for a person who's scanning just to read the hashtags. So you want them to give a little blurb about the book and then put the link and then put the hashtags at the end of it. All right, so I'm already following her, but we'll share this around. Share and like. All right, so this is another one. It's an autofill from WordPress, and all we're seeing is his torso and the name. That's not, the best kind of way to promote it. It's much better to have the full book cover where you can get the full impact of the book and then have some sort of background image. Is that the same? Nope, that's a different person. So I'm already following her, but we will like and retweet that one. Because I also write medieval romances, so the more that I share their stuff, the more that they're likely to share my stuff. Let's see what else. All right, so here's a good one. So we've got the cover, which is a great cover. It shows a clear image, and this is part of the test of whether your cover is good or not. Well, can you see the details of it, even when it's shrunk down to a little size like this? You really have to be able to, because that's how most people are presenting information nowadays. So you can see the cover. It's a great appealing cover. You've got this nice background. So we're going to retweet and like this. See if I am following her already. So that's good. So we've got a nice little promo, a link for people to go do something, and then the hashtags in there for being able to find someone. So why don't I put up a promo for one of my books and you'll be able to see. We'll go back to profile. So to start a new tweet, as you probably know if you've been using Twitter, they have a giant tweet button. They want you to tweet things. So when we make a tweet, first up, always add the image first. That way you don't have any problem with any other autofilling image coming in and taking over the image spot. So we're going to click on the media button. We're going to browse. I have a whole folder of Twitter promos, and I have them organized by my different books. So we're going to look for the medieval books. And we're going to look for my first medieval book. And let's do this one. So it shows the cover, shows that it's got 293 reviews, and it has a couple little promos of text. Now I should probably change this to have fewer promos in bigger letters with the whole make sure you can be read at a small size, but we'll go with this one for now because it's good enough. All right, now we need text. What I do is I keep text files with my promos so that I don't have to type them over and over again. Never reuse the exact same text because then Twitter will think that you're spamming. But if you have a starting point, so I've got a bunch of different starting points that I can work with and that I just make tweaks to. So let's see, we'll do this one. All right, so I lead with the free. I have my little promo text, the headstrong maiden with the heart, 5 determined men are vying for hand. Now I try to always, if I can, promote a local bookstore because if I promote a local bookstore, they're likely to then retweet it and share it out. And it gives me extra promotion. Also, I feel strongly that it's important to support our local bookstores, so I do it in general. If you're mentioning another person's account, use an @ sign and then that person's username so that it ends up connecting directly to their account information. You would get that from their account page, what their username is. I will pull that out, so this is a little different. I have an Amazon link because this is going to go to thousands of people and not all of them are going to be local. So this way the non-local people can get the ebook version from Amazon. And then I have 3 hashtags. One of them is sweet romance. Here, we'll change this one to medieval romance to go with this medieval romance theme. And then one of them's the sweet romance retweet group. And I'll talk about retweet groups in a second. So I've got 3 hashtags. I've got the promo up at the top. I've got the link to Amazon, and I've used my own image so that it's not autofilling with the Amazon image. And I made a reference to a local bookstore so that they hopefully see it and help share the news. So I'm going to hit tweet on this. So once I hit tweet, the promo goes in here, and this is what it looks like. So let me just verify that Deb, yep, so that's Book Lovers Gourmet, which is the local bookstore, is still active. It's always good to check with everything that's going on. So we got the promo, we got the text about the local bookstore for the signed copies. I have the link to Amazon for people to grab the Amazon copy, and then the 3 hashtags in there to help it get found by the target audiences that I'm interested in. So this kind of post, and it has the custom image that I made so that it helps get it promoted. And like I said, I probably should redo this image. I mean, here, let's even go to Amazon and take a look. All right, so now it has 302 ratings. So I made this thing back when I had 293 ratings, so I need to update it anyway so it has the new rating count in there. So I've made the post for the book, and it's the way that I want it. So I have other accounts that I run. I've got about 30 accounts in general that I run, and I manage the overall account health with a product called TweetDeck, and I'm logged into that in a different browser. So this is TweetDeck. Let me try to shrink this down a little so that it all fits. All right, I believe that this should fit now. So TweetDeck is good because it lets you manage multiple accounts, and it lets you follow multiple hashtags or accounts so you can easily see at a glance what all of them are up to. So for example, I like to retweet news from the local Massachusetts museums. So one of the columns I have set up here in TweetDeck is about all the posts that local museums are making. So I can just scan this and see what the museums are up to and retweet or share information if I find it appropriate. I run a Boston writing group, so these are tweets that are made from members of the Boston writing group so that I can just scan through and see if anyone has any sort of news or information that I should be sharing out to my own followers. And then this account here lets me keep track of things that I've posted from one of my accounts, so then I could share it from a different account. So if, for example, I run that Boston writing group, which is this one here, so I'm going to choose the Boston writing group, and I want the Boston writing group to retweet it. And I want the Boston Writing Group to like it. So now if I go back over to my Twitter page, so now I've got a notification that the Boston Writing Group retweeted my tweet and liked my tweet. And if I go to my profile, you see I now have one retweet and one like on this post, which is from the Boston Writing Group. So now if we go back over to the TweetDeck, and we're going to have the Sutton Writing Group, which I also run, retweet this. I'm going to have the Sutton Writing Group like this. So now this post has 2 retweets and 2 likes. And if we go back over to Twitter, you can see on our notifications that now the Sutton Writing Group has also retweeted and liked it. So if you run a group account, like for your local writing group or something like that, then you can help manage the likes and retweets on things that get posted from different members of it. And TweetDeck helps make that easy. Even if you just have one account, TweetDeck is really good for being able to follow what different groups are doing fairly easily and just keep a column for a hashtag that you follow or so on, so you don't have to sit there and search for it and track it down manually. Another way to keep track of groups of people is with the concept of lists. So for example, I have a list called the Boston Writing SIG. This has 16 members in it. So all of these people are part of the Boston Writing SIG, and by looking at this list, I can see everything that all these people have been doing very easily. So this page here is showing me all of the things that members of the Boston Writing Group have been up to. And that way I can quickly and easily check in and see what the different members have been up to. So Tom Holliday posted this thing about puddles. Tom Holliday retweeted some things from other people. Mike Bleiweiss retweeted this, or made a post about a musical instrument joke. So there's different things that these different people have been up to, and I can go through and see if there's something that's appropriate for me to retweet or share. And sometimes it is, maybe I'm not going to reshare this thing about Doctor Who or this thing about the Xbox stuff, but I will retweet, maybe not that one, but maybe I'd retweet this thing about false idols. So you pick and choose. You don't have to, of course, ever blindly retweet and share things, but you want to think about your target area and what would be of interest to your target group. And also, if I'm retweeting something from Mary Morgan and she's writing medieval romances, and then she decides to then retweet my medieval romance, we're helping each other because her audience likes reading medieval romances and my audience likes reading medieval romances. So it's a win-win situation for both of us. All right, so when you have a Twitter account for your author works, it's good to tweet about your books if you have books out. It's good to tweet about the kind of research you're doing. So if you're researching Knights in Armor, you could talk about, I just watched Ironclad and learned all sorts of new information about how knights functioned back in the medieval days, or whatever it is that you're doing. People like those kinds of discussions about what you're doing. You see, I just wrote 5,000 words today and I'm so excited, and then lots of people will chime in and saying good job. Just make sure you always include some sort of an image with your post, because the image will get the person to slow down enough to actually read what you posted. Make sure you use 2 to 3 hashtags that relate to the topic area that you're working on, because that'll help you build up your followers. And whenever you can, include some sort of a link for them to do something, whether it's sign up for your newsletter or follow you on your blog, or if you have a book, to read the book, or so on. So it's good to have some sort of a call to action in there. So if you can make a post each day, that can be really useful, because again, a lot of people are getting thousands and thousands of posts going by them every day. So if you only post once a week, that's just going to get lost. People won't even see that you're doing that. So it's good to post regularly. It's good to post directly. Don't set things up on some sort of a schedule where you're not even at your computer when you post, because you want to be able to be there and engage with people when they respond to you. So if someone answers something and then they never hear back from you until a week later, they're going to be discouraged and have forgotten all about you, and it'll make it look like the account is being run by a robot. And you want the sense that this is a real person behind the account who's really typing these things. So make your posts in person when you're there. Hang out for like 5 or 10 minutes while you're there in case anyone responds to you about the things that you're posting about. Like other related people's posts. So if I'm a medieval author or a cozy mystery author or a paranormal author, like posts made by other paranormal authors and cozy mystery authors, retweet them when it's appropriate to do so, when it's something that fits in with your theme. Comment back if you can, if it's something that you can comment on. If you go to the writing community and someone asks a question like, what do you prefer to write on a laptop or a computer, chime in and give your answer, because now all the people who are part of that thread will see your name and it's a free marketing and promotion for you. Now they see that you're a helpful member of the community, they're likely to follow you, and so on. In general, when people follow you, it is always good to follow them back. So I have people following me every day, so I have to go in here and make sure that I follow everyone back. It's just good Twitter practice. And the more that you show that you are someone who follows people back, the more that more people are likely to follow you because they see you as a useful member of the community. And again, this doesn't mean that I'm actually seeing their posts necessarily, because I only rarely look at my actual, here, if we look at my homepage. So this is all the people who I'm actually following. That's what your homepage shows you, is all the posts from all the people that you're following. And some of these people are people that I actually know. But a lot of these people are random people that are, people that I happen to run into on Twitter. Oh, so here's the Dead to Donuts we just saw. And, some of it's going to be things that you don't agree with, and you just have to scroll past those sorts of things. Lots of cat pictures, so like there's that image that I liked a lot. So your list here of the people that you're following is going to become unmanageable fairly quickly, and that is okay. That's not really a page that you use. What you generally use are lists that you put together of topics that you're interested in. So like my Boston Writers list, or I've got a Massachusetts Museums list, and I'm much more likely to go look at that to see what the local museums are up to see if there's anything I want to share in there, or what, cozy mystery authors. Or if you, instead of using lists, you can use the hashtag. So if I'm interested in cozy mystery authors, or here, let's do sweet romance to do something different. So if we do sweet romance, all of these are going to be romances that are teen friendly, so they don't have anything explicit in there. So these are also things that I'd be likely to share around. So let's see if we find one. So that one looks sort of interesting, so we'll check her out. I'm already following her, so we will retweet and like her post. Let's see, how about her? Oh, I'm not following her yet, so I will follow her. I will share the news about her post. And again, I've sorted this by latest, so these are people that have posted recently. So it is likely that they'll see the notice that I liked and shared their information, and that makes it likely that they'll come back to my page and like and share something that I posted. When people come to my page to see what sort of stuff I'm up to, I just retweeted a bunch of things. So I retweeted this post from Jen, I reposted this tweet from Cassidy, reposted this tweet from Nadine. So I don't want an author coming to my page and only seeing other people's books and not finding a book of mine to then like and retweet in return. So you always want to pin a recent post of yours to the top of your page, and you pin it just by clicking the three little dots, and you'll get a pin option. So here, let me go down to one of mine to show you. So if I wanted to pin this, I could click on that and say pin to your profile. So here, we'll do that. Right, so I just pinned that to my top of my page. So now whenever someone comes to my page, they're going to see this right at the top. So that way the first thing they see is a book by me that I want people to like and retweet so they can easily see it. And then underneath that, you'll see the other stuff I've been up to. So retweeting people from other posts from other people, some of my own posts are in here, retweeting from a fellow author friend of mine, and so on. So keep one of your recent posts pinned to the top. Don't have it be an ancient post, because then when people arrive on your page, it looks like you haven't updated your page in a long, long time. You want your most recent pin to be recent. You want it to have some sort of a promo that you want people to like and retweet, because by being at the top of your page, it makes it the most likely one that people will like and retweet in thanks for whatever you've just done for them. So let's see how we can summarize. It's good to tweet every day. It shouldn't be very onerous because you can keep a list of commonly used tweets that you do and just make little changes to it. So once you've got the general gist of the thing down, you can work on that and just cut and paste that. You should have a pile of images that you've made about whatever your project is so that you can pick and choose from those images. You don't want to put the exact same image out all the time. Mix it up and put out a bunch of different images so that things stay varied. Make sure the images work well at a small size so when it shrinks down, people can still read it and glance at it. And again, this is an old image that I happened to grab. It would work better if it had like 3 or 4 lines of very big text instead of, I think that's like 8 lines of littler text, so this is less good. Always have 2 to 3 well-used hashtags, and you can see how used a hashtag is just by clicking on it and seeing what the current results are. There should be a couple posts at least per day for you to think it worth using. If you can, mention someone, because when you mention someone, they will get a note about it and they will hopefully help you retweet it. So if there's local bookstores, you can mention them. If you're thanking someone who's helping you with a project, you can mention them. Try to always have a call to action of some sort. In my case, it's buying the book, but you could be signing up for newsletters or signing up for your blog or whatever else. And try to always start with engaging actual text, not medieval, not medieval, not hashtag stuff they have to slog through, which is hard to read. Go with engaging text, and then go into the link, and then go into the hashtags at the bottom of it. And again, focus just on 2 to 3 so that each one has strong weight versus having a bunch of them in there, which then waters them down and each one has less weight in the Twitter system. So if each day you make a post, cut and paste, takes like 2 minutes, and then hang out in Twitter for like 5 minutes while that post is going out to the world and like and share other people's posts. That way, if people see that post and have a comment or something, or retweet it, you can say thank you or respond to the comment or so on. And your retweeting actions are building your brand because now all of these people are learning about your books and they are more likely to share information about your books to their audience. Oh, and I didn't mention the retweet groups, so I will briefly mention that. There are groups of authors, usually by topic area, who get together and help each other with their books. So there's cozy mystery retweet groups, medieval romance retweet groups, and so on. And the idea is when one of the authors, let's say I'm a part of a medieval romance retweet group, when I make a post about my book, all of the other medieval authors in the group retweet it. And when they make posts about their books, all the rest of us, including me, retweet their posts. So it's a great way for everyone to share the book promos amongst like-minded readers, because it wouldn't help necessarily if I had this post shared out to a bunch of horror authors because their readers might think my books are too tame and boring. It would be much better if my horror books were shared out to horror authors and my sweetly medieval romance books are shared out to other sweetly medieval romance authors. So the better you can target that sort of sharing activity, the better that the process will go. And there's always going to be some people who cross over into different types of books, but it's better to focus in on the ones that you really know are going to enjoy your books rather than spending time on people who might maybe enjoy your books. So it's definitely worth looking into retweet groups, but I would get your follower count up first. If you only have 5 followers, then it's unlikely that you're going to be welcomed into a retweet group as a useful participating member. So I'd get 1,000, 2,000 followers up before you start doing the retweet group work. So let me know if you have any questions about how Twitter works for authors and some techniques for helping your books get found more easily. I hope this was useful to you, and I am, like I said, happy to answer questions or take feedback or anything like that. So thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful afternoon.